It's time for everyone's favorite segment on the show, Soundbite. And in case you weren't around for the first 2 episodes, Soundbite is a segment where Steve and I take a clip of audio, someone talking in a post-game interview, something on a podcast, just a hot mic take, whatever. They say something interesting that when they listen to, we listen. So today's Soundbite is Rory Mcilroy speaking before the FedEx Cup about his thoughts on the LIV Golf and PGA Tour merger. So take a listen to that.
Hey,
Adam on the left.
Rory, has over the last day with the different meetings and the conversations you've had with players, has your opinion changed at all? Have you sort of started to see where this is all going? And are you excited about this? Are you optimistic about this? Kind of as you project forward?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the one thing that I think was really misconstrued yesterday was, all the headlines were PGA Tour merges with LIV, and LIV has got nothing to do with this, right? I mean, it's the PGA Tour, DP World Tour, and the Public Investment Fund are basically partnering to create a new company. All I've wanted to do, and all I've wanted, in the past year from basically this tournament, is to protect the future of the PGA Tour and protect the aspirational nature of what the PGA Tour stands for. And I hope that this does that, but I think with the headlines being merges with LIV, like that's not if you look at the structure of how it's structured down, this new company sits above everything. Jay's the CEO of that. So technically, anyone that is involved with LIV now would answer to Jay. So, the PGA Tour have control of everything. And the one thing as well is, whether you like it or not, the PIF are going to keep spending money in golf. At least the PGA Tour now controls how that money is spent.
So there you have it, Rory Mcilroy sharing his thoughts and feelings on the LIV Golf and PGA Tour merger. Now, no, golf isn't a super popular sport with everyone, so if you weren't following any of this or understand, I'm going to give a quick rundown of the events that led up to this merger. So in March of 22, Greg Norman, a former PGA player, launches LIV Golf to rival the PGA Tour. And the big thing with LIV was they were paying people between 8 and 9 digit money. Like just stupid money. In May 22, the first big name to go to LIV was Dustin Johnson. He headlines their first event, and from there, they just keep getting other stars with bigger names. Dustin Johnson at this point was playing the best golf of his life, was top of the world. They soon took Phil Mickelson, who everybody knows and loves and recognizes. They then took everybody's favorite douchebag, Brooks Koepka, paired him up with his arch nemesis, Bryson DeChambeau. So they started taking a whole bunch of names from the PGA. Also in June of 22, the PGA suspends any player playing for LIV from PGA Tour events. So if you leave the tour and go play for LIV, you are not allowed to come back and play PGA events. August 3rd of 2022, Phil Mickelson headlines a lawsuit along with 10 others suing the PGA for their suspensions, claiming that they violated regulations in their contract by not allowing them to play in these tournaments.
Interesting.
5 days later, the PGA responds and says, that's bullshit. You knew what you were doing when you left the tour by violating the regulations that you were claiming we did. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You want to go play for money, go play for money. You're not playing for us. Then in September, Phil and 3 other golfers drop out of the lawsuit. They just say, all right, we're done, and tap out. 2 days later, the PGA sues LIV Golf for interfering with their players and their contracts, essentially with tampering, like when NBA executives get in trouble. They're saying that they were doing things they weren't supposed to by poaching players. Then in May of 23, just recently, Brooks Koepka wins the PGA Championship. And I mentioned this to you, Steve. I have never seen a PGA guy after winning a major be so viral and be everywhere on social media. Like Brooks Koepka was blowing up after he won. And then June 6th, the merger happens. LIV and PGA combine forces to make everyone play together again. The PGA made a stance and said, look, if you want to go play for money, go play for money. We're backing our players who are staying. We're a part of history. We were the original. We're going to protect our guys and back them up. So they completely reversed their morals, their ethics, and the things that they stood for, their ideologies, for the paycheck of we need these names for tournaments to bring players in. It is disrespectful. It is a backstab and a cowardice move to go against the players who you were supporting for the check.
To get a little deeper into your point about the players there. So before the RBC Canadian Open, there was a players only meeting with Commissioner Jay Monahan. And during that meeting, I've heard from multiple sources that there were specific players calling for Jay Monahan's resignation. The players that are the most concerned about this merger seem to be the players who are struggling to hold on to their tour card. And their fear is that the players from the LIV will come back, dilute the field so much again, weigh it, it'll be so top heavy. It's almost like you're crying about this for all the wrong reasons. I think that this entire situation will ultimately create a players union.
What really sends this home as to why the power dynamic is so off is that no one was notified. It's a weird thing because the PGA can't say anymore, well, we're in this for you. Like, we're on your side. Because, oh, if that's true, why'd you do this without telling,
Right.
we're a team? It's just weird. I mean, it's like if you're married and you go and buy a house or a car and don't consult your spouse.
Right.
I thought we were supposed to do this together. So it's caused a huge rift now, I think, more than the initial LIV thing. And I think you're right. If there's ever been a precedent to unionize, it's now. And I agree. I'm shocked that there's not already a golfer player union. Player unions are super useful and helpful and across all leagues. I mean, they're the ones that are really in it for the players.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this just shows that you can't trust the league as a whole to do what's right for the player.
I want to hear what Tiger has to say. Even though he's not playing, he's the greatest ambassador to golf the world has ever seen. So it's like you still want to hear something from him, because if you don't remember, they tried to pull him from the PGA.
Yes, they did, for an absurd amount of money. Yeah,
stupid money to go over to LIV Golf, and he said, "Nah, I'm cool."
It was billion with a B, wasn't it?
Oh yes, it was a B, not an M for million. No, a B, the big boy B.
The big boy B.
The big boy B, and he said no.
Today's soundbite.
Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.